All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a great start to your week. Welcome to the Best Damn Clemson show, where me and Cole cover all the latest news in the sports world. I'm Evan Cooley, and today I'm joined by...
What's up, everybody? It's Cole Gerard, and welcome back for another episode.
All right. And college football season is in full force this week with fall camp just getting started. Clemson kicks off their fall camp on Thursday, and we'll be sure to keep you all updated all week. Today we'll be talking about what we're looking forward to from seeing in this offense during camp. And we'll also talk about ACC kickoff, which was last week, which me and Cole were lucky to attend. All right. And like always, if any of y'all have any comments or want us to talk about anything, please feel free to comment below, and we'll be sure to address it. All right, Cole, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. All right. So last week we attended ACC kickoff, and we heard Dabo Swinney speak. We heard 4 players on Clemson speak. So let's get into that a little bit. And we also saw Syracuse, North Carolina, and NC State speak as well last Thursday. So we'll be sure to get into all of that. But let's kick it off with Clemson. So Dabo Swinney was the first one up to speak for the Tigers. And what did you think about his comments?
I really did enjoy his press conference. You know, we all knew the transfer portal topic was going to come up and stuff like that. And you could tell he's always going to answer a question, but he's going to try to avoid the transfer portal topic as much as possible because he's always been the guy who wants to develop his guys. You know, he wants people to come to Clemson for Clemson and not come to Clemson because they're not getting much money and playing time in another school. You know, he brings in all these freshmen to develop them and, you know, keep them for 3 to 4 years. I'm sorry. So, you know, he almost like he wants to shut the media up because all the talk around college football in the off season and the portal time is about Dabo, and he's not using it. This and that. And I'm personally fine with not using the portal because I want to develop our guys.
Yeah.
I want these kids to play for us because they want to win a national championship, not because we're paying them $1 million. So I like how Dabo always, you know, puts his foot on the ground and, you know, lets everybody know, hey, this is Clemson. This ain't Alabama. We're going to go recruit 20 guys out the portal and give them all Lamborghinis and Dodge Chargers. You know, this is Clemson. We're going to give you a nice locker room, nice uniforms, nice stadium, and you just play for us and play for, you know, the culture.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that not using the portal makes Clemson more attractive to high school recruits because they know that, one, they're not having to compete against a bunch of guys that have come in from other schools early on in their careers, but also they know that Clemson's focus is developing their young talent. They're not going to set their young talent aside and bring in older players to play right away. Clemson wants their young players to play and is focused on developing them. And I think that that's a big appeal to high school recruits.
Right.
And like you were saying, I was interested to see if he was going to get questions about the transfer portal or if finally the conversation would move more toward this current Clemson team. But it still seems like a lot of the media is a little bit stuck up on that transfer portal for sure.
We knew it was going to happen. It happens everywhere. It doesn't matter if he's at a like the ACC kickoff for media days, or he could be at a charity event. Somebody's going to ask him about that transfer portal.
Oh yeah, yeah, and when we broke up into the private meeting areas, and I listened to Phil Maffa speak, and he talked about how he feels like Clemson develops their young talent better than any other program, and how that's a big appeal for him. And he feels like a lot of other recruits is knowing that their focus is on solely high school guys. They're not looking at transfer portal guys, which he thinks is a good thing for the program.
And like you were saying, it's better for high school recruits coming out of high school to think, okay, I got an actual shot in fall camp to work my tail off and maybe fight for a spot instead. I'm at Georgia.
Yeah.
Brought in 6 studs.
Yeah.
From the Big Ten, ACC, other SEC schools, and now I'm a high school 5-star that was supposed to get a good bit of playing time, and now I'm a red shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like however good you may be coming out of high school, if you're a 5-star, 4-star, if your school that you're going to brings in a transfer guy, they're bringing him in for a reason, and that's to play him right away. They don't plan on sitting him on the bench for a year or two.
Exactly. You bring in that's why I'm okay with not using it, because if Clemson uses the portal, we go get a couple wide receivers that are going to be seniors or that last year or 5th years.
Yeah.
And then we got TJ Moore and Bryant Wesco coming in. I want to see the freshmen, in my opinion. They're studs that have 3 to 4 more years left, and this guy's been in college football for 5 years.
Yeah.
Younger talent over. I mean, I don't know. That's just me personally, but
yeah. No, I agree. I'm really excited to see some of these young freshman guys this year. And we heard, I believe it was Barrett Carter who talked about Sammy Brown and how impressive he's been so far since he arrived on campus.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what he can do, what Sammy Brown can do, and what those young receivers can do also. So
Barrett was saying that, Sammy's been on campus since January, and he said Sammy might be one of the strongest guys in the weight room and one of the focused guys who thinks he's going to have a big impact. And he said he's only 18 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think he's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he'll see a lot of early playing time.
Yeah, I agree. And now shifting over to the players who were also part of ACC Media Day, you were focused on Barrett Carter, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what he had to say in both his main media session and in the private media session.
So the private media session, I didn't kind of get to hear much because I was taking pictures. But with his press conference, I just liked what he had to hear about. It wasn't all about football. Like we were saying, he was talking about the culture, his relationship with his teammates, the coaching staff, his family, and how they support him. But we talk football because we're at a football conference. But I feel like Clemson always keeps it. It's like all about the family atmosphere and the culture. This is why they picked Clemson. But I like what he had to hear about some of the returners like him, R.J. Mickens, that was at the conference as well.
Right.
Freshman Sammy Brown, and then like Shelton Lewis, Khalil Barnes, Avion Terrell, how they're just getting bigger and stronger from last year, because Avion Terrell, Shelton Lewis, and Khalil Barnes were the freshmen on defense last year getting that early playing time because Nate Wiggins had an early injury that kept him out for a game or two. RJ Mickens was hurt for a game or two. So those freshmen that got to play last year ended up starting the rest of the year. Now we're going to be our studs this year. So I kind of liked what Barrett was saying about them all around defense and the addition of Chris Rump on defensive ends coach.
Yeah.
And this D-line, under Nick Eason, who's easily one of the best coaches in college football, who gets a phone call every day to come coach in the NFL, who just keeps declining them because he wants to coach at Clemson. I think this Clemson team is going to be better than a lot of people think. So I'm excited.
I do too, and I think you could tell that just by the camaraderie and how it felt like a family that was out there on the stage compared to the other teams that we saw talk. I feel like that's credit to developing your guys over the course of 3 to 4 years and not bringing in talent from a bunch of different teams, because they've seen the tradition of Clemson football. They know what it means to be a Clemson football player, and all that will eventually lead to winning for this team down the road this season. And I'm excited to see it. I'm also really interested to see the jump that some of the young players make between their freshman and sophomore year, because that off season between becoming a freshman and sophomore is massive for a lot of guys. The nerves are gone. You're more comfortable in every area, being with the team and the workouts. You know how everything goes. And so I'm really interested to see this year how some of those young guys make the jump between their first and second year.
Yeah, and I think one guy that I'm most excited to see jump from freshman to sophomore year is Tyler Brown at wide receiver.
Me too.
Sorry. He was a stud last year who just made a big jump from the Duke game. I mean, I think he had maybe 2 or 3 catches in the Duke game that weren't, crazy catches, but everybody's like, okay, here's that Tyler Brown. I didn't hear about Tyler Brown until fall camp. He wasn't – I mean, obviously we knew we were getting him as a freshman, but fall camp, everybody's talking about Myson Kelly and Tyler Brown. I think Myson Kelly would have played a lot more if he didn't get to that injury, which I think this year he'll play a good bit. But Tyler Brown, the guy who started all last year, had a whole spring, summer, and now going into the fall, I think that's just going to be scary. Yeah,
I think so too. And the receiver room in general, because you mentioned Tyler Brown, it's going to be really, really interesting to see, because I think that there's about 8 guys that are legitimately competing for playing time this year in that receiver room. And it's going to come down to fall camp and how they all perform. But I'm excited to see Antonio Williams healthy. Excited to see what Tyler Brown can do this year. I like both the freshmen, Wesco and Moore. I like both of them a lot. And then you have guys like Hannafin. You have Adam Randall, Noble Johnson.
I forgot. Oh, yeah.
So, there's a bunch of guys competing for playing time in that receiver room. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I think it's going to.
You got so much depth. I feel like this is one of the first years in a while that we just got a bunch of playmakers on the field.
Yeah, I agree. And we will be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Are you tired of scrolling endlessly to find the perfect deal?
Who said that?
Me.
Ah! Who are you? How did you get in my house?
Be not afraid. I'm the Frugal Fairy. See, at the Frugaling Shop, we bring the best deals to your doorstep, so you can spend less time searching and more time saving.
Yes, hello? There's a man with wings standing in my living room, and I'm scared.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. That's what Harbor Oasis became for me, a slice of home in Anderson, South Carolina. I stumbled upon this heartwarming marketplace. Roaming through aisles of handcrafted treasures and local art, I felt each piece whispering stories of passion and dedication. It's a place where warmth meets creativity. Join me in experiencing this magical oasis. Explore the beauty, attend soul-enriching workshops, and support local artisans. See for yourself how Harbor Oasis can become a part of your story too. Experience the joy today at Harbor Oasis, located at 5013 SC 24 in Anderson. Have you ever stumbled upon a flavor sensation that sweeps you off your feet? That's Waffle Drop. Nestled in the heart of Greenville, we've spun up the traditional bubble waffle, a thrilling mix of pancake and waffle, into an art form. From the whimsical Lille Blue Panda to the decadent Ferrero Rocher ice cream, every bite is an adventure. Imagine savoring a bubble waffle wrapped around your favorite ice cream. Now stop imagining. Visit us at Hampton Station and embark on your own delightful journey. Buy now and feel the happiness we blend into every serving. Experience the joy today at Waffle Drop.
They say a home is a safe haven, but what about when that safety is threatened? Last year, a storm hit our area hard, and suddenly the roof over my head, my family's shelter, was compromised. I felt vulnerable. But then Canopy Roofing stepped in. Their dedication, much like that of a caring family, restored more than just our roof. They restored our sense of security. If you're ever in need, let Canopy protect your haven too. Experience the same peace of mind. See for yourself how Canopy Roofing can safeguard your family's comfort and safety.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And before we dive fully into fall camp, Cole, let's go back real quick to ACC kickoff. I wanted to talk about one more of the topics that Dabo addressed, and that was the expansion of scholarships to 105 players, which has been proposed and is one of the biggest topics in football right now. And I was wondering what you had, what your thoughts were about his comments and what your opinions are.
You were breaking up. I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
Yeah. So Dabo mentioned how he wants to expand this, or not he, how the conversation in football has been to expand scholarships to 105 players. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on what he had to say and what your personal thoughts are on the possible expansion.
I could agree to disagree with the whole thing because at the end of the day, you're going to, not everybody, but a little bit more scholarships would not hurt in other sports, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like football, I feel like there's already a lot. But then if you do that, that takes away the walk-ons.
Right.
Walk-ons. And that's kind of tough because a lot of kids, like Dabo was saying, just want to be a part. Just want to be a part of the program. Just want to be a part of the culture. Help the team out and scout the team, this and that. Because if you do take away the walk-ons, there's no scout team. You're over here actually putting your studs against each other on offense and defense every day instead of having a scout team of kids who actually just want to help out and be a part of the team and do that. So that's kind of what Dabo was saying. So me personally, I like the walk-on position. I feel like it's a good opportunity for somebody who actually wants to play for the team and doesn't care about the other NIL stuff and just wants to work their way up to play the game.
Absolutely. And I think in theory, it sounds great, more kids getting a free ride through school. But when you actually look at it, I think walk-ons are key to every football team.
Every sport.
Every sport. And those scout players are massive in preparing your team each week for the game that they're going to play. And if you have 105 guys on scholarship, that's going to cut down, one, how many guys you have on your scout team, and two, the transfer portal is going to be even crazier because guys are going to come out of high school with a scholarship to Clemson and these other big schools, and then they're not going to play because essentially they're the same as being a walk-on. Their role is the same as being a walk-on, but they're on scholarship, so they're going to think that they can get playing time at a different school, which is going to make the transfer portal even crazier.
Right now, I think like college baseball, I'm all for it.
Right. Yeah.
Get more scholarships out. Help these guys out. Basketball, this and that.
Yeah.
Football would just be a madhouse.
It would be.
Like that. It would be awful. And like we already think transfer and NIL is crazy, like you said. I think there's got to be, and I'm okay with the transfer portal. I'm okay that we don't use it, but I'm also okay with the transfer portal. But I wish it was monitored and well kept more than it is, and I wish there was a little bit more of a standard of using it.
Yeah. And I think too, there are a lot of good players who have great careers that start out as a walk-on.
Oh my God.
And you're going to lose a lot of talent who maybe necessarily didn't have the great high school recruiting because they played for a small high school or just for whatever reason, because of their size or whatever, there was something that kept them from getting recruited.
My bad, go ahead.
No, you go.
Think about Hunter Renfrow. The guy was a tiny walk-on coming out of Socastee High School in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Came to Clemson, made the team, and ended up, I don't think he played his freshman year at all, but ended up getting working hard, got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Making the winning catch in the national championship, winning a ring. He won 2 rings here, actually. So,
and a successful NFL career, too, on top of that.
So that's why people cannot take the walk-on position away.
Yeah. And you have guys like Baker Mayfield too, who started out as a walk-on at Texas Tech, and I mean, there's a lot of talent that we wouldn't ever discover if the walk-on's taken away.
I didn't know Baker Mayfield was a walk-on. That's crazy.
Yeah, started out at Texas Tech as a walk-on. So, but I don't know, who knows, but I don't think it's a good idea. I feel like there's been so much change in just the last year.
Be happy with they finally got the 12-team playoff that everybody wants. So just keep it at that and let's play how we used to play.
Yeah. And like Dabo was saying if you asked any college coach, they would say that they don't want to expand scholarships to 105 guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with that. But and then what are your thoughts lastly here before we move into fall camp about Cade Klubnik and Phil Maffa's comments at Media Week, because they were the two offensive players that Clemson sent for us to hear from. And so what were your thoughts on that?
With Cade, I liked how, he kept it all away from himself, and he talked about his teammates. And one guy that he mentioned that was going to be a stud on the offense was Brian Westcott. So just when you're starting quarterback saying something about a guy that hasn't even been through fall camp yet, and he's just seen that through the past 6 weeks of the team-led practices or whatever. I don't think it's been that long. And he's already making a big jump. That's scary. That's really scary because, we already got studs like Tyler Brown, Jake Brenningstool, Antonio Williams, and you got Brian Wesco, who's a freshman, who is just going to make a big impact in your quarterback who gets so much hate and backlash. I'm excited, and I like everything he had to say was positive. Obviously, he's going to be positive, but it was like he had there was we're getting bigger and stronger, and he's telling us that obviously, but I think we're seeing the same thing as Cade Klubnik was saying, a bigger and stronger team who is ready to dominate the season.
Exactly. Yeah. I fully agree with that. And I was kind of focused on Phil Maffa throughout that day, and I was interested to hear what he had to say because obviously Clemson is normally a running back by committee type of system, but this year everyone's expecting it to be heavily on Phil Maffa's shoulders in the run game. And he talked a lot about how he's been preparing his body differently for this season than he has in the past. And he talked about how he's following a strict diet right now. He talked about how he's kept the same weight all off season and how he's been focusing on prehab and stretching each day in the morning and at night. And I mean, from a college football player, you would think that that's self-explanatory to do that, but I know a lot of guys that don't do that type of thing when they should be, and you can see that he's very mature in the way that he goes about preparing himself for the season, and that he knows that people are expecting a lot from him this year.
Yeah, and I agree. I think, him being here for 3 years with Will Shipley, and they were the same class. Obviously, they came in together. They were roommates all 3 years, and just to see that Phil had a guy like that, like Will in his ear all the time and helping him up, bringing him up. I think easily Will Shipley could have came back for his senior year, and obviously he got drafted very good. He's in Philadelphia doing his thing, but Will basically handed Phil the keys to the running back room, and I think Phil's ready to take that responsibility, and that's why I like how he's keeping his body good and doing all this extra stuff out of football to keep his body maintained and ready for the season. Because like you said, other guys don't do that, and other guys just wait for the season to come around, I guess, and just go to practice and think it's all going to be lovely and stuff like that. But I mean, Phil's a guy who wants to win, and obviously the past 2 years, Clemson has been in their downfall, as the media likes to say. But I think he's going to have a breakout year, and he's so good. I'm a talk college football game for a second. He's just nasty on the game. So hopefully he carries that into the season. I think he will.
I think he will too. He'll run some guys over like he does in that game for sure. All right, we'll be right back from one more word from our sponsors.
Ever wondered what it's like to soar above trees just minutes away from the city rush? I tried the Treetop Quest Greenville, and guys, it's an exhilarating blend of thrill and nature. With over 60 obstacles and zip lines fit for any skill level, the adventure leaves you buzzing with adrenaline. You can swing through courses multiple times in a 2.5-hour session. So why wait? Get your adventure spirit on and check them out today and feel the rush for yourself.
Ever find yourself needing custom gear that really stands out? At Carolina Printing Sports and Trophy in Hartsville, SC, we personalize everything from t-shirts to trophies, making sure your brand or team logo pops. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, or dazzling plaques, we've got you covered. Swing by today and let's create something unique just for you.
Hey, no, no, hey, no, no, hey, no, no, hey, hey, hey.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And for the last few minutes of the show, let's dive into fall camp, which kicks off on Thursday. College football season is right around the corner, with kickoff against Georgia coming almost exactly a month away on August 31st. Cole, we talked about it a little bit last week and a little bit on our show after ACC kickoff, but with just 2 days left, what are the final things that you are looking for in this Clemson team before the season kicks off?
I'm excited to see Cade Klubnik.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all couple weeks when we've done the show, I've talked about just the offense, but
Yeah,
I'm excited to see Cade Klubnik, dude. I got high hopes for Cade Klubnik this year, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but I do know why, because you know, seeing him work, you know, didn't have a very good year last year, but I mean, he didn't have as bad as a year last year as people would think. I mean, he could have had a lot worse of a year, but you know, like the offensive line's gotten a lot better with Matt Luke. Wide receivers, obviously bringing in guys like that, and then he's a guy that wants to win and wants to lead the program. He's a very mature leader, so I'm excited to see him because he wants it just as bad as anybody does. So,
me too. And when you're looking at his numbers from last season, I mean, he had 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, which is about a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which isn't great, but definitely not as bad as some people make it out to be. But we'll definitely be looking for that ratio to improve this year. And he had about a 64% completion percentage last season, which is something I think will be the focus of on improving for him. Because I think that he was ranked about 45th in the country in completion percentage. But I think his veteran leadership is going to come through this season and a full off season with that talented group of receivers like we saw. I think that the sky's the limit for him, like you said, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And like you mentioned, the offensive line completely revamped under Matt Luke. I mean, Matt Luke is a key to this Clemson team this year, in my opinion, and his coaching experience. If you look at his time at Ole Miss, he completely changed that Ole Miss offense and helped Ole Miss become the offense that we know today. Obviously, it was under Hugh Freeze most of the time that he was there, but you think about some of the great offenses that he had there and great offensive tackles that he developed, like Laramie Tunsil, who everyone knows. I'm really excited to see the development that he has with this offensive line this year. And like we've already talked about, the wide receivers, the thing that I'm most excited about in camp is seeing which wide receivers emerge for that first game against Georgia, because there's going to be a lot of competition during these few weeks of camp to see who those guys are going to be. I feel like Antonio Williams and Tyler Brown have obviously locked up significant playing time, but I'm excited to see the 3 and 4 guys behind them and who those guys are going to be.
Yeah, I think we're going to send out Antonio Williams, Tyler Brown, and probably like Troy Stellato and Jay Brenning still on the tight end spot for the first series. But I don't think TJ Moore and Bryant Westcott will go in the first series. I would be really surprised if they did, and that would be sick in my opinion. But I feel like they'll come in after the first series just to get one drive through, and then we'll put them in. And the place is probably gonna erupt.
Yeah, it will. And,
I'm excited, dude.
Me too. I can't wait. You see a lot of teams within an easy game week one. I think it's way more exciting when you know that you're anticipating a great game week one, and you can say all you want, like, oh, well, I just want to be sure that we start off 1-0, but I feel like the build up to the season is so much more exciting when you're playing a team like Georgia.
You look forward to it more because, like, if we were playing like, trying to think like a crappy ACC, like if we were playing Syracuse week one, I would not be excited. I would be excited obviously because it's college football season.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're a month away, and I'm like, come on! I was just hurting myself last night because I was watching the Clemson Georgia game in 2021.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an exciting game. It was a very exciting defensive game, but both sides' offense was just not good. Yeah. And I was just like, why am I watching this? But I just wanted like the atmosphere and the first game of college football coming back is just everybody's looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait. Well, guys, we thank you all for joining us. We will be back next Tuesday at noon. So please come back and come talk about more football with us as we cover fall camp because it'll be in full swing by next week. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
See ya.
Hey, no, no.